Well, hello and welcome to the wrap. This is a show rounding up all things Zwift from the last week. We talk racing, we talk fashion, we talk events, we talk esports, we talk leveling up, all kinds of stuff. I'm Nathan Guerra. Anna Russell is next to me virtually coming out of New Zealand. I'm in Wisconsin of the US of A, and this is episode number 74 on Thursday, December 14th, 2023. We are live on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and now Instagram. Although I think our Instagram went out as a 916. We might kill it mid-stream. We'll see how it goes. But that is something that Anna actually warned me about, that there's now the ability to go live. So we're like, let's go ahead and try it. So if you're just listening to our audio over on Instagram, well, we'll try and send you a 16.9 if we can. Or it looks like you can watch it on a browser on Instagram. I don't know who's opened up Instagram in browsers very often, as they tend to push phones. But anyways, we are live on Instagram as well. A little bit of an addition there. Today on the wrap, what have we been talking about? Well, as usual, we talk about what we've been up to on Zwift for the last week. And to go along with that, there has been a lot of XP farming and leveling. We're going to tell you all the secrets that we know of to get your XP and leveling as quickly as you possibly can. And to go along with that, we're going to tell you what our favorites are when it comes to the unlocks for level 60 through 100, well, 61 through 100 that just released in the last week. Been absolutely a ton of fun in the community to watch everybody freak out about all their unlocks. And we're going to help you try and get them as quickly as you possibly can. We also have this season on Zwift, just released from Zwift as a press release about the things that are coming up over the next couple of months. The Zwift Games has been announced with a massive elite prize, one of the coolest and biggest that we have ever seen, with a total of a whopping $110,000 going to the elites, with a sprint, an epic, and hill climb competitions across. We're going to go over all of that. We also have our jersey pick of the week, as well as maybe some NPC stories I'll be bringing to the table as well. So there is a lot to go over. We'll do a little bit of ZRL, a little bit of ZGP. Did I miss anything, Anna? I feel like there's so much to talk about this week that I may have missed something, but I think that is about it. So what have you been up to for the last week, Anna?
Yeah, well, sorry, I came on pre-show. I might be a bit frantic on the podcast today because the kids have now broken out of school for summer holidays, and we're having like a party at our house tonight. So I was like, what better thing to throw into the mix with a whole bunch of really tired kids than all have them at my house? And so we're having a neighborhood party here. So yes, I'll be, when we get near the end of the pod, I'll be like, party time. Let's go. And it was a couple of weeks ago I had to leave for a party. So I feel like I've been very social. But I think we had what I would say is one of Riot's top 3 performances ever this week in ZRL. I was very stoked. So I couldn't actually race with them because we had our like Junior Jingles Christmas concert. So I couldn't race in the USAS. So I raced EMEA, which was also really fun, racing with different people that I'd never like raced with before. And it was just kind of cool because I didn't know what to expect. So I just went really hard on every segment, and the team did awesome. So that was heaps of fun. But then I was really nervous because I put a ton of work into the tactics for Riot this week on the course, because it's a really, in my mind, a very tactical course. And we were neck and neck with AO, and we had to win this going into the TTT to know that, we had a little bit of wriggle room. Like if we got the most points in this race and the most finish line points, then we're good leading into the TTT, even if we come second, because we'll still be tied and we'll break the tie. But yeah, so the tactics I went with, and hope Jen doesn't mind me saying, but she was real skeptical. She was like, I don't know if this is going to work. And I was like, no, I've gone back and I've watched my streams and I've watched the AO riders, and I know where the weaknesses are, I think. And so I just said to Megan, Eleanor, and Natalie, so I split the team into 2. And we've talked about this on the pod before, and I think we even talked about it when Sai came on about how you could approach this course. But I split the team into 2. There were the sprinters and the climbers. And the sprinters had disc wheels, and they were not to go hard on the climb. They were literally just to sit in the main pack. So they were not going anything near threshold. They just sat in the main pack. And then I had the climbers use Trons and go absolutely bananas on that Sgurr, the first time up Sgurr Summit. And like by bananas, like, wow, they like went for it. And a group of 4 split the elastic. So 2 Riot riders in the front group of 4, no AO in the front group of 4. And as soon as that happened, I was like, we're going to nail this. Because if they stayed away, that meant they would get, and this is how geeky I am, I added up like the potentials with numbers. With FAL, they could roll through and get basically FAL now on every single segment right till the end. And they'd get huge finish line points. Then they had the main pack, which because there was a pack, you could get FTS because you could go through the pack, you know, like start at the back, use a draft, use that kind of thing. And so we had the 2 up the front just mopping up all the FAL, and then we had 4 in the main pack. Boom, 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 FTS, FTS, FTS. And so and like Angela Roberts nailed it from AO. Like she's amazing. Like she was doing so well. But at the end of the day, we were over 100 points up.
What?
On AO. Yeah.
How? And that was just from saving up until that moment. So it was like you waited and waited and waited, and then you just made sure to split it. Go.
Split it. I was like, our only aim here is to split it. And I said, we need 2 up there. Natalie, you go for it too. 3 would be awesome, but we need a minimum of 2. And like Megan is like dangling off. I was like, Megan Rathwell, you've got this. You've got to go. You've got to go. You will regret this. You will regret it if you do not make this. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like screaming at her, and she made it, which was awesome. And then once they did that, they had a 30-second gap going over the top, and it like contracted a little. But then what it meant is the girls behind, I think the biggest mistake people were making was going hard for every single segment. And on that course, like you will really start to suffer, right? And so because the sprinters weren't going hard on the climbs, when it got to and I know there were climbs like Breakaway Bray, but I'm treating that as a sprint because it's so short. They were like relatively fresh. So they could like just own it in that pack, right? Yeah, it was amazing. Like the girls just did so, so well. And I just was watching being like, oh, it was a risky tactic because if we didn't make it over the climb and we just completely destroyed 3 riders, it would have been pointless, but they made it. It was awesome.
Nice. So good. I actually had a similar strategy for myself. I was like, okay, I'm only going to have 1 kick, I think, here. Like, I really think from where I was at, I trained really hard over the weekend. Just the 2 days before I had done a full gas 2-hour SST ride. I was having trouble, like walking downstairs the day before hurt a lot. So I was like, all right, well, I'll be like, I won't be fresh yet. I won't be fully rested. I'll be like just coming off almost fresh. So I was like, all right, I think I got 1 go. So I went ahead and just said, I'm going to save my feather power up. I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to, until I hit that Sgurr summit. And then the second that we were coming over, now my teammates though, they went from like halfway and like split it themselves a little bit. And I was like, oh man. So like I should have went with them. I didn't think they were going to get that far ahead, but then I closed it up to them and I came back to them on the downhill with my anvil. And I've raced this twice now. I raced in ZGP the week before, and then I raced it on Tuesday. And so the anvil I learned at the ZGP on Thursday is that you come over the top with that feather power up, and then if you can gain some speed on some wheels, you don't use your anvil right away. And if you use the anvil on the steepest section right before it levels out on the opposite side of Sgurr, so you're going down reverse Sgurr, if you use that anvil on that like 10% gradient right there, you can get into like the high 60, 70 kilometers per hour, and then you can roll it. I mean, just roll the speed. And so you're resting completely on that downhill, and then you just punch 500 watts, and then you settle into threshold. I went straight through a pack that was like just hanging out and just immediately had a 10-second gap on them. I'm not kidding. Like immediately gone. And so I had a bunch of guys that were with me jumped on. We had like 5 off the front. We weren't very organized. The weird thing was that like it was a team. It was like 1 team member of mine and then 2 of a sister team. And so it was like, hey, but we weren't working together. Like it was so weird. It got out totally. And so we just eventually sat up because it was like nobody was doing anything that was going to make it stick. But I had a similar, I was like, I need to get FAL all the way to the line because I still don't have a good punch since the back injury, but I was a little frustrated actually at the end of the night. I was a little tired though. We've been broadcasting and like super busy and a little bit sick.
You sound a bit croaky.
Yeah, I mean it's not like sick. It's like a cough, like a little cough. You know what I mean? That just is like hanging around, like it's just bugging you. So like, anyways, the excuses all come out because I didn't win the race, blah blah. But I scored some good points though, and it was a good ZRL race, and I really like that course. It's a racer's course. If you show up.
Do you know what I liked about it is there were smart things you could do that made a big difference. So like one thing, we talked about it last week, like hoarding power-ups. So one thing our team did is I realized, because I raced it in the morning, that first breakaway bray, the reverse one, it doesn't get anything more than 2%. So basically it's a sprint, like it's not a climb, like it's very gradual. And so I just said to my team, like, don't you like keep your aero power up that you got at the very first champions banner. So don't use it and don't get the feather, use the draft truck on that segment. And so all these people dropped this feather and then it just flattened out. And as soon as it flattened out, boom, everyone in our team hit their drafts and just draft power up through the pack and held it all the way over the line, right? So that was like one thing I think was quite good. And then Nyquist, like, man, it was risky though. So when I was racing with her the second time up Sgurr, she held on to her feather. So she didn't use it. Now the risk wasn't staying with the group on the climb. The risk was she didn't have an anvil for the descent. So she had to like work really hard on the descent. But then it meant she used the feather on the Clyde kicker and got FTS and FAL. Yeah.
There you
like
go.
Super smart, right?
Yeah,
like I was like,
that's super good.
Like risky, but like great idea because she just like powered past everyone with this feather on that second kick up. It was amazing. So it was great.
Now, one thing I definitely think that I learned, I'm still learning. So I know we're going really deep into the ZRL here, but like, I'm still trying to figure out how the heck sprinting works with this new pack dynamics. It's not new anymore, but man, like here's the thing is it so depends on what the group is doing and trying to anticipate what they're doing. So it's not like there's just like one dice roll. There's more. See, I think what it is that's bugging me is that there is more of a dice roll that feels like a road race now. It's not always going to work. Like in a road race crit situation, there is some luck and tactics depending on how much control your team has of a race. A single individual in the old pack dynamics could get away with a lot and play the whole pack in ways that you could just get away with. And now, if your team, it's way more dependent on your team taking up space, driving you to somewhere or protecting you or doing whatever if the pack is behaving one way or another way. Example being, in the Clyde kicker, for us, I sagged way off the back and was only expecting to be taking the FTS by having a really good kick, but not winning the FAL. But the pack, the way that they were riding is they were riding timid for the FAL. They were all watching each other. And now with the new pack dynamics, if you come with enough speed and kick, you just go whoom. I mean, it's even more than before because you get acceleration by going by them. So it was like we hit them and I went, me and like two others just went flying through everybody for the FAL and easily got the FTS. It was like, whoa, but that barely happens if it's an aggressive sprint. If it's an aggressive sprint now, you're stuck where you are if you go late. So it's like so much depends on what everybody else is going to do in the pack to fight for space and speed to get that boost when you go by people. It's very different.
I found my tactic with the new pack dynamics and how I went in this race was same thing. Like I would lag off the back so much, like really hover off the back. And then I just sprint through the pack. So same as you, like most segments, it was like FTS or second than FTS and FAL, or, so I think that it really does favor you to come through with that speed. because I do think where that there are the points, you're right. I think there's a lot of timidity. I don't know about the finish line sprint. Like I was a bit nervous about the finish line sprint because that's where people go a little bit more, like all in. But I just found on this course, similar to the one we did on Suki's playground, there was a little kick, like a 4% kick before you. So it goes up, down, take a left-hand turn, and then you're on the freeway into champion sprint, right? So
Yeah.
about 500 meters to go when it kicked up, I just went like,
How did that
but
work
I
out
never
for
got,
you?
yeah, I didn't get caught. So
Really?
I was, yeah. So there was a girl up the road. So I was second, but yeah, like this was the main pack. I was like, oh, wow. I fully thought that this group would catch. So I was watching their numbers, like, and I was up out of the saddle and I was probably like, maybe 8 watts a kg, kind of just like, not grinding, but like I wasn't full in the drop sprinting. And I was watching their numbers in the gap and I was like, it's still 4 seconds. Like it's not coming down. And so I was like, oh, well, there we go. And kind of like rolled over the line. And you saw Lou Bates do it in the Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago, right? It was like, it kind of is like fortune favors the brave with it a bit more. Like I just don't think they're able to catch on, and that was a downhill sprint for her, so I was really surprised. But yeah, I if there's a tip for going into next ZRL season, it's go for those breakaways for the points or the finish line.
I think the thing that's getting me about it is that like I'm seeing what happens. I'm seeing what happens, but I can't, like, usually I have a pretty good intuition around like the gist of like how shapes are moving physically through like their speed accelerations and things. Like I've always kind of been like in hockey, I just loved that part of hockey where like you've got a puck on the end of the stick and like you've got to perfectly angle it so that it, like you can like do a perfect shot into this little corner, and like getting all that right with accelerations and watching them make sense to my eye. And right now it doesn't make sense to my eye. I'm like, what's happening here? I'm trying to pull it out so that I can fully get how it works so I can manipulate it to my best control. And I'm not there yet. I'm not where like I can't predict what's going to happen. And that's where I'm getting like super confused by it. And that tells me that there's a lot of different things happening amongst the pack all at once, probably in every single interaction between the avatars.
Yeah.
So you have to watch it super close to get what might be happening. And because it's not identified for us with any in-game user graphics, which I do still think are needed. I still think because it is like that, it's not as predictable about what might happen and what I might have done wrong. I think that's also what's bugging me is like, I'm not sure at this point where I made a mistake. It's just kind of like, I feel like I'm gambling a little bit. And so I don't appreciate that part of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Too much out of your, you sound like a bit of a control freak, Nathan.
Well,
too much out of your control.
like when it comes to efforts and like interaction in a game space, like I don't like, how do I say this? Like when I interact with a field of play, like I don't guess whether or not when I step down, my foot's going to hit the grass, or when I kick when I kick, I'm going to hit the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I kind of feel like with the lack of information about what's happening with the draft or what's happening when I kick forward, like there should be just a little bit of a communication that like when I came by them, I got that little boost, like maybe just a little bit of like air around you going faster by you in graphical expression, or like something that tells you there's something happening here, or just raw in some sort of raw data numbers, because otherwise it feels like I go to kick the ball and the ball isn't there. And I'm like, why wasn't the ball there? I don't get it, So I guess that's where I'm kind of going.
Yeah. I can like Whitney's come in. She's like, the fun of gaming and racing is perfecting the craft, and she doesn't like the guesswork. I feel like I've got it.
Really? Oh, listen to this.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, I don't know. Like
somebody needs somebody. Anna's got really good fitness right now, and like it's totally going like I've got it. Just somebody might have to knock her down and not. No, I'm just kidding, Anna. I'm totally kidding.
But I don't mean so much like the fitness, but I feel like I've got the vibe of it. Like I feel like I can like watch it a bit and just kind of be like, and it's interesting because it was racing with a
But
different group.
sprints,
Because I was
sprints or breakaways, because in sprints I don't got. In breakaways, I think I got it. In sprints, I am like, I don't know what's gonna happen here, or I don't know what and why it happened. Do you think you like
so for the
even in
I
sprints?
feel okay. So like, and I think this may be where it's a bit different in the female racing because
Okay.
the sprints aren't at whatever k's per hour you guys do. So maybe the decision like making is so split second, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like, say that first sprint we did, where it was straight out of the gates, right, with this course. So the first sprint was like 200 meters after we started, and I feel like I just feel really calm, and I'm like on out of my saddle, pushing like the pedals. I feel like I'm stuck. Like I know the person who'll sprint well is Angela, right? So I feel like I
Mm-hmm.
can kind
Mm-hmm.
of be stuck to her a bit. Or in our group, like I was racing different people, but I could feel like, yeah, I'm stuck to this rider, and I could see where they're pulling up speed, and I just like crank up, crank up, crank up, crank up, go. Like so, I don't know. It feels like I got a vibe to it. I don't know.
Mm. Yeah, one thing is that for sure now is I feel like a lot of riders can sprint though now in a way that they can get away with something that
Mm,
a 2 watt per kilogram more sprinter, if they do it wrong, is going to get beat. Whereas before you could always kind of make up for something pretty quickly.
yeah.
Now, if somebody gets away that has 2 watts per kilogram less in their sprint, they might stay away still from a split second decision. And so with maybe it's because, like you said, like you can just, Angela is safe for you to
Mm,
watch. I don't really
yeah.
like in a pack of like 10 dudes, there's 5 that
Mm,
it's like, is that going to come back? You know what I mean? Like it can be a little bit
yeah.
more out of control. I'm just giving myself excuses for losing sprints though. That's really what's going on here.
No, but I think you've got something because I'm sprinting in a group of 10, right? And there's one sprinter who is by far better than the others. And so you get stuck to that wheel, you're in like a good spot. It would be like if you're like getting stuck onto the wheel of Cavendish and you're like, okay, you take me to the line. Like, I think we're going to be okay here,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like it's a bit, but that's what I think it's maybe different in different races. Like if this was Grand Prix with 40 people, yeah, I don't know. I would have no idea what to do.
Yeah, speaking of that, last week I raced Grand Prix and got swarmed like crazy. And we already talked about that. We'll leave that alone. But
Yeah.
sheesh, man. Wow. All right, let's that was a deep dive into ZRL actually, but I mean, definitely worth it to maybe just what do you think out there? I want to know to the listeners, like, do we need more communication? Do you like it how it is? Like, where are things at for you and what you're thinking about the current dynamics and the communication that's in the game about what's happening with the draft? For me, like specifically in those sprint situations, I would personally like to see, like I said, more graphical representation of what's happening and why. Just a little bit, but all right, let's move on. Zwift Games was announced. I got an email today saying that the
Mm.
Zwift Games was announced. The real quick little overview of this: three different types of races, 5 races in total for the elites. The community will also be able to race also their own Zwift Games. There will be qualifiers though to get into the elite level, $110,000 across for them. The races and the stages and the routes, sprint qualifiers are going to be happening on Watopia Hilly Route. And there's going to be a sprint championship race 1, 2, and 3 to crown the champion for the Sprinters Championship. Then there's an Epic Championships as well. The course for the elites and the AB categories will be raced on a new Watopia course. Both the other sprint championship races, 2 of those are also on new Watopia courses. Now, this is not new tarmac. This is not new roads. This is actually just new courses that are going to be used specifically for this. The Epic, now, well, quick, the sprinter thing, cool. Are you interested? Like, what are you thinking about there with the sprinter thing? Are you going to participate? And which one are you going
Yes,
to
I
participate in?
am.
Yes.
All of them, I think.
All of them.
So
All of them. You're going
yeah,
for the whole thing.
the whole shebang.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But one of them, I'm a bit gutted because the one that I was quite excited for, which is the Epic Championships, is the day after I've just done a half Ironman.
Oh,
So
man.
I'm kind of like, but I remember doing a ZRL long race or a Zwift Grand Prix long race like a few days after a ultra trail run I did, and it was awesome. So let's just see how it goes. But yeah, I think I'll do all of them. The sprint ones, I'm not like a sprinter, but it's the thing that like entices me about it is that you get kind of points and ranked. So, for ages, Zwift Power, like you'd want to know what ranking you were, but then Zwift Power it becomes so null and void with points races. So, like you're doing ZRL, you could win on points, but come 25th. And so it kind of became who cares? Like, I have no idea what my Zwift Power ranking is. But this, I'm like, oh, this is quite good. Like you could come out at the end of it and be like, yeah, I'm a top 20 Zwifter. I like it. I think that's why I want to do it. What about you? Are you going to do this?
I don't know yet. Probably. Most likely. Yes. But I like to win. I don't know. I'm like, am I motivated to rate like the epic? I think that's somewhere where I like really I think would be pretty good. The climb, road to sky, like man, I got whooped on bad. I think I could be maybe 2 minutes faster from what happened on the day I hurt my back. Because I would hurt my back.
Yeah.
But even that is like 3 minutes off the winning time. And how many people are going to be between there? And like, is it worth it to do that just to participate? And I don't know what the scoring exactly will be to get, like if you win or I get a podium at the Epic Championships or do well at that. And then, you know what I mean? You start like weighing how worth it is to get those points in the top spots. The reality is this is going to be so big that it's going to attract the highest level of athletes in the entire world. I think that the sprint championships, I mean, you've got to throw down 18 watts per kilogram to be competitive, maybe more even, at the very, very top of those. It's going to be very difficult to even get in the top 30. That's going to be, and then only top 10. That's going to be such an elite crowd. I mean, that's just going to be such an elite crowd in the sprint championships. So it'll be a lot of fun and it'll be super, super cool, repeatable efforts. The Epic Championships, 81.6. So when we talk about those sprints, it's like 18.3, 24.9, 19.5, and 15.3. So very short courses with a punch. And then the Epic Championships are 81.6 with 878 meters of elevation. So punchy. Something that will be similar probably to the Three Little Sisters that the C and the D categories will be racing. I would think. But New Watopia course for the elites in the AB categories. And then the climb obviously just being the road to the sky, which is just show up and go.
God, that's the one I'm a little bit like, I don't know. But I think, so I've been having a think about it because I think like you, like I like doing well and I like having the carrot of winning, right? Like I haven't made it, quite that I want to win a ZRL race, but like, it's very like watching this Grand Prix stuff. And I think in my head, I'm like, I'm actually like, I think a goal of like, I want to be top 20 in this race or, like I think a top 20 kind of goal. I need to see who signs up. Maybe it's top 30, but looking at it realistically and being like, yeah, I'm not, I got 3 kids and I work and I do this for fun, but I do still like being competitive. And I think coming out of it with like, okay, maybe that climb championship, I don't love like just grinding my way up Alpe to Zwift, in 20th place. But if I kind of look at it as like, but you know what? I wouldn't mind setting a new 1 hour power record. I wouldn't mind setting a PB up the Alpe. Like I've done all this training and I think I would just use it for like, what did we say? Like competition means to strive together. I think it's sort of like, look at each race and be like, okay, the sprints, I'm not out there to win, but I want to PR my 15-second power. I'm like, want to do the epic. Am I going to win? No, but I want to lay down some wicked tactics that break some stuff up and make it a fun race for me. And the climb championships, try for a 1 hour power thing. I think as well, I love the team racing, and I'll always kind of err on that side of wanting to race in teams events on Zwift. But there is also something nice about it's just you. Like, I just have to get on. I can listen to some music if I want. I can just kind of like do this for my own personal achievements. Do you get what I mean? Like, I think there's something nice about that. Yeah.
So that's all we ever do, right? Like, that's what we do.
So I think I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
The race schedule, the sprint qualifiers are happening on February 24th and February 25th. The men are on the 24th. And the women are the 25th. There'll be, it looks like, 3 different zones for the qualifiers, 10 a.m., 6 p.m., and 2 a.m. After that, though, once you actually start the races, 1 through 3, wow, they're doing them all in a row. Is that right? Is that March 2nd, Sprint Championships 1 through 3 are all taking place on March 2nd, starting at 6 p.m. UTC. So, like, bop, bop, bop. Like, short races, punch at the end, go win that sprint. That's interesting. I think, now, in a sprint championship like that, you're going to have teams showing up to get somebody a win.
But there's no teams, are there?
Who cares? If you're next Esports, you're going to show up with 8 riders for your sprinter.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if next Esports can win the whole championship because they supported one rider that can win the sprint championship, that can win the epic, that can win the climb, you know what I mean? Or if they win across all of them, like, let's say they can't do that, but they can win the sprint, win the epic, and win the climb by supporting the riders that are good at that. I think the trade teams are going to target this, and they're going to stack those races.
So do you think it's going to end up being a team competition, essentially, within an individual competition?
They're going to try and qualify as many people as they can, these trade teams. Now, in the sprint, it'll be a little different, and it's going to really favor the teams that can get as many as they can into the the first qualifier, right? And then from there, which I think they will, because I think the qualifier it's the top 30 from each race, right?
It's like the world champs.
Yeah. So I mean, like, that'll be like 90 riders then. Okay, right? That'll be like 90 riders. Yeah, and then from there, so I mean, across 90 riders, Saris, next, Abus, I mean, they're all going to be looking to throw big names into that qualifier. And then for the epics, I mean, everybody in the ZGP already has an invite. Like, you don't even actually, now that you think about it, they don't even have to do qualifiers, actually. Now that I think about it, there's auto invite. We don't have, so you're just in. So that's 90 plus. You're 90 plus the ZGPs. Actually, is what's happening now that I think about it. So that's a massive field, and of course they're gonna. Now, what'll be cool? What'll be really cool, actually, is if there's some community teams that are like, we'll show you ZGP.
Yeah,
we'll show you. We're gonna qualify a bunch of our riders. And we're going to get in there and kick your butt because we're mad. We weren't selected. So we're going to show it by the democratic process of getting involved.
Well, I know there's some teams who are pretty pissed that they didn't get into Grand Prix. And they're going to look at this and be like, hell yeah, we're like bringing it. So I think that's good. I actually think now you say that, I think the epic race, if you're a team, will be one that would favor team tactics.
100%.
So you could... Yeah, because you could chuck some riders off the front doing some crazy shit and burn a whole lot of other sort of individual riders' matches, and then the rest of the team can sit in the pack. And that'll be fun. That'll actually be okay. So a bit of individual, bit of team. I like it. Then it's a good mix.
Yeah, it is.
A bit of money too.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a rider who's just, if there's one, this is a space where teams are a big deal. They are a huge deal, and you can get shut down, and if you're not smart and you're really, really talented, a team is going to shut you down real quick. But at the same time, it's also a space where even if you don't have a team and you're really smart, you can play them. You know what I mean? You can, play the game well and get away with a lot and then end up just whooping on them if you've got, Tugel's podcast, like if you got top level fitness,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You can then,
Yeah.
and it'll be interesting to see if this brings some people out of the woodwork that have not been involved in the ZGP Zwift esports space over the last year or so. I have a feeling that that's going to happen. I have a feeling we're going to see some new names coming out.
Because there'll be people who, like for me, the Grand Prix time zone doesn't work. Like it just doesn't work for me. So there'll be people who are like, well, I'm at work during Grand Prix, so I can never make it, but I'm like a kick-ass Zwifter and they'll come along. It'll be good. So yeah, $7,000. So there's essentially three rounds, $7,000 first, $5,000 second, $3,000 third for each of those rounds. And then first place overall, when they've added up the points, $10,000. Now, each of the first place also get an in-game unlock, which they've said. Now, this is what I'm hoping it is. Not that I'm in any position to win, but for whoever wins, this is what I hope it is for them, is not an unlock in the garage. You know how there's like a little pro jersey that's next to people's names when they're pro? It needs to be like a gold star or something, like the little gold crown. So you see and you go, ooh, yeah, they're a champion. Cool.
A crown, like something that actually identifies next to their name that they are like a winner of the Zwift Games. Like they have won the Zwift Games.
Yep. I think that'd be epic.
I think going toward that same feel of what you get if you win at the world level, with UCI it's rainbow, with the Olympic it's a gold medal. You know what I mean? Something that's Zwifty though. That is the equivalent of like you are the world champion of this.
Yep.
So
instead of the orange tick like you have, it's like a gold star with the number 1,
that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's because otherwise you have to see the avatar to identify them, and sure, give them a jersey or something, but that little thing in the riders, that the identification of that person that's attached to their account that like verifies them, you know what I mean, that nobody else can, that I think that's really, you can see it across all places of Zwift too. It's like you see it in the friends nearby list, you see it in the companion app, you see it anywhere that they are in Zwift that identifies them that way. I think that's 100%.
And when they're racing like Grand Prix in their team kit, you still see it, and you're like, oh yeah, okay,
exactly, totally.
They're legit.
It's something they always held on to, like with the rainbow bands on the sleeve. You know what I mean? It's something that always follows them for the rest of their career with Zwift racing. Because this kind of accomplishment, I've got to be honest, like the way that it's being done, and it's a single rider through all these competitions, it really does crown a champion across all. It really does. Like, and it's well done that way. And so kudos to Zwift on that. And that we're able to crown an overall champion within the Zwift racing stratosphere. You know what I mean? I think that this is a good way to identify that. I like the way that it's come up out of the community in some ways, and that the community can all race it too. And there's that barrier. The teams thing is cool. I like it, and I'm not against it in any way whatsoever. But there is a barrier a little bit there where this doesn't have that same barrier in that way. Mm-hmm. This doesn't necessarily provide. I wouldn't say that this provides a sports structure, though. Like, I'll definitely say that this is not. I'd say that this. So, like, in the same way that the Olympics doesn't provide sports structure, they provide a games at the top, but that's not a sports structure. They leave that to all the organizations that are out there that then they say, well, send us your best athletes to participate in the games.
I think it could provide the inspiration, kind of like the Olympics does, right? So they've got the community events during the week. So, and then you get to see people duking it out in the weekend for the elite stuff. And then you could be like, you know what? Like, I'm in B category. this year I'm going to really like go to try and get an A and I want to race there next time. Or like, hey, what power were they doing on that climb? Okay, I'm going to like kind of aim for this. So I think it's inspirational. I just find it crazy that it's Grand Prix and this, like it's two elite things now happening, which is
Yeah. It's a lot.
a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. TTT was today. Speaking of Grand Prix.
Yeah. I didn't watch it. I looked at the results though. I don't find TTT that fun to watch. But I do like looking at the results and seeing the differences, like
TTT
I love
is like the most fun to do, but it's just really difficult.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. I think just because watching you're like, they're rolling around, so but yeah, it was.
That's funny because we're thinking about bringing back TTT broadcasts. So like, I'm like, we'll see if we can do something about that, Anna. We'll see if we can do something about that.
Well, I think that and I didn't watch it today, so I don't know how the broadcast went. But I think you need commentators who know an extreme amount about TTTs to make it interesting.
Zwift TTTs.
Yes, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah, you're not
exactly.
TTTs.
Like,
yeah.
So I mean, we had a podcast. We talked 2 hours about TTTs. So you kind of need that because the people who want to watch a Zwift TTT want to know, like, ooh, that person has surged off the front too much. That's going to hurt this, da, 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 da. And then you're like, oh yeah. And then you're in it, right? And you're like, oh, okay.
It really is a data geek thing. It really is. But you have to have the data geek thing next to very, very simplified what is happening stuff at the same time. Like there needs to be this right mixture of like very simple hit this. Like there's like 3 or 4 different things that are like the critical hits in gaming. Like if you have like a, like, in any game, there's always that thing, right? Did you get in Mario Kart? It's did you hit the box, and then what power up did it give you? And then did you hit the little thing that made you go faster? And there's like 3 or 4 things that are like, okay, I got to do that every lap. And did it happen or didn't happen? And then there's all the little intricacies and the data in the background. You got to have like both of those playing on each other in the right amount in order to create this rhythm of excitement. If you don't have that, like you're just kind of talking about people riding inside. Like, I don't know.
I think as well, what you guys used to do a while back, and Whitney's coming to chat with it, is I think TTTs are really interesting when you watch them on Twitch, like from the POV of the person in it and the talking. And I think like you guys used to do it, you'd bring in the race radio. And I think that's where like, when you're hearing the DS talking and you hear someone be like, I'm dropping, I can't do this. And
nice handbag, by the way. Nice headband, by the way.
Nice headband, Gabby.
By the way.
Nice
Get on.
That kind of adds a bit. So I think if you did that as well,
I need that soundbite for any time that it just needs to be, for any time that your team time trial commentary needs to come into the stream. We need that as just a soundbite that I can just play at any moment, not even have to reference it. Like just pop, there it is.
I like your headband. By the way, nice headband. So yeah, but as far as AO1, which I'm not surprised about, they're like they're very dominant in that format, the TTT, and it's been like that for a couple of years now. I'm actually not sure who their DS is, if it's Carla, because she I know has got a lot to do with AO. But yeah, if someone can let me know who their DS is, because they do an amazing job, and the riders, they're just good at what they do in that TTT. I saw 2024 was 4th.
I was a little surprised by that, but I guess some of these teams are getting really, just getting their stuff together, man, because geez, that was surprising for me to see.
So I'm getting like, I don't want to like freak out, but 2024 has not been in much ZRL lately either. And I'm just getting a little bit nervous because they're a really good team to have in the community and in Grand Prix. And I'm just nervous because I know there are, I use them as like a bit of a yardstick for like in real life versus virtual. And they were quite, we had their team manager on the show, right? And they were very committed to virtual racing, and they had the whole virtual team, and they were really, really good. And I feel like this season, I think like a few of them are racing in real life and then they don't race virtual. And I'm like, oh no, I think it's like the pull is going that way a little bit. And I was like, I don't know, it just makes me nervous, when anything pulls a little bit of a team way.
But it might be this time of year. It may
Mm.
be that like it was too early for their road racers and they need to be putting in base right now, and too much racing isn't good for them. And so you may see them push a lot more toward that Zwift Games, February, January. I even think that Kristen is still building fitness specifically for nationals. You know what I mean? I think that, I wouldn't say, I have a feeling, I bet you we'll hear from Josh just from mentioning this. Josh Lipska, for everybody knows, is their DS and coaches a lot of people on the team, and it's Kristen Kolchinski's coach. But, I do think that they're just like, this is too early and too much right now. The fact that we saw Emily Ehrlich, we just saw her show up, tells me I'm ready now. I needed a break. It's December. Now is when I can actually start getting going again. So Zwift season started really early again this year. For anybody who's racing in real life all the way through October, they just got done in October.
Yeah. And I mean, I think, and this is a side that is awesome though, is I think with the Tour de France Femme and all the stuff that's happening in women's cycling, there is a real push or pull to these ladies going to in real life, because there's an actual career path that seems quite strong at the moment in women's cycling. And maybe that's it too. Like, Zwift was a great way to get sort of like talent ID'd. And then you go off and there's a pathway for you into like in real life racing.
Well, you mentioned the headband. I just have to do this real quick. I had it up and I almost had it up and ready here, everybody. But here, this store is live, everybody. Real quick little ad intro. Oh, but and Anna will be. I think you almost have these in hand. Actually, we're gonna have to maybe wear at least the headband. But headband, towel, jersey, and shorts. We've got indoor and outdoor kits, everybody. So make sure we'll have the link in the description below. If you want Zwift Community Live Kit, if you're listening on the audio version, that link will be live over on the website as well. Be on the watch out for that. We'll be posting it all over the place. I'm really liking it. It's indoor specific too. So I wore it actually tonight during a race, and it's like really, really breathable. So I took your headband idea and we went full on with it. We just ran with it. So we now have Zwift Community Live headbands. We're good. We're good on, on that fact.
I cannot wait to wear it. I will plug something else. I will wear that for our podcast Festive ride next week.
There we go.
So I wonder keep an eye on that for our socials.
Let's see if we can get it in game.
Oh my God. In a week. Good luck. Oh my God. Good luck. So it's basically 12 hours earlier than where we're at now. Next Friday. So it's a bit of where our podcast used to be and the time. So it's different times.
Oh, we're doing it. We're doing it. I thought you were doing it right before this podcast.
But yeah, we are, but the actual time
we're gonna actually do the podcast at our original time. Oh, okay, great. Awesome.
Yeah. So
I don't have to ride at 10 p.m.
Me.
I thought I had to ride at 10 p.m.
No. I think it's like lunchtime for you. So hopefully that works. But yeah, we're going to, we'll put the links out on the socials and stuff, but it's on one of my favorite courses. I'm just looking at it now. What do we got? Coast Crusher. So you start through jungle, downhill, we'll cruise around for like 30K. And then like we did last year, just absolutely slam the last 10K, see who takes it out, and bring your worst fashion.
Worst everybody. Fashion. It is a bad sweater party, everyone. Okay. It is you're 100% just dress as wacky as you possibly can. Get your levels between now and then to get everything as all over the place as we can. And we will have an award for the person who, I don't know what it is. I just made that up on the spot. Why did I say award? Now I have to give something to someone. But there will be an award for the worst fashion that shows up to the ride. We've got a festive ride. It is a public event, everyone. So you will be able to find it on the public calendar next week. And it's 1 p.m., I believe it is, 1 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah, about lunchtime in America.
Yep.
Early for New Zealand. Last year, if I remember rightly, the award was given to Christina Grossman. She went the full like leopard print, but then with like different, like it was just like a total nightmare. So yeah, have fun. And I know Teppi is here and he's level 72. So I'm looking at some of the unlocks that he could get before then.
I want Teppi to take a link and just start talking to us right now.
Oh,
honestly.
Yeah.
Like, no, because he's got all this stuff, all of this top secret, like totally awesome. Because now we just opened up the box. Okay, between now and next week, get all of your levels unlocked because you got to show up with your bad sweater party, right? Well, there's so much stuff between level 61 and 100 that's got all kinds of wackiness to it, right? The City Sgurr cap is amazing.
So should we segue now into, because I've gone through
XP farming and this whole thing with new levels. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So I went through Zwift Insider's complete visual list. Now, if you're listening to the pod, I would, what do you say? You use this as like a pair. So like I would pair this conversation with that article so you can see what I'm talking about as I'm talking about it. But I've gone through and put it into categories. Now, I know last week you were like, oh my God, are we actually going to go through everything? So I've categorized into gloves. There's only one lot of gloves though, so that's easy. Socks, kits, shoes, headgear, and there's only one pair of sunglasses. So we can leave gloves and sunglasses. Now, I'll go with socks. So out of all the socks, you've got bike packer socks, 62, tortoise and hare, 65. Those are the levels to get it. Dino Power, 73, Scotty Squirrel, 77, Dino Power, 79. I don't know why there's two Dino Powers. Party Socks, 88, Mirage Socks, 92, and then Out of This World, 97. I've gone tortoise and hare because I really like I'll call them turtles. I really like the turtle socks. I just think they're really cute.
So, okay, I'm currently riding the, what are these? So they go really well. So the bunny socks, I really like the pink bunny socks. I don't know why. Like, I am so about them. The 65 ones.
God.
And the reason why is because they go so well with the pop art shoes that you get right before that. And I also have this Castelli kit that I'm wearing. I have the new Team Italy Team Castelli kit, and it kind of fits with the kit too. And when you have the like Tron alongside, when it's like pink, when it's like almost like violet almost. Oh, it's just like this perfect matchup, actually. I've been taking all these pictures and stuff. Yeah.
Oh
but like,
God.
Have you seen these? Oh my gosh, they're so bad. They're good. They're so bad. They're good. Like, I got to show you real quickly here. These specifically, like, look at these things. So this is Zwift Insider. Thank you so much to Zwift Insider. Go check all this out, everybody, over on Zwift Insider. But pop art shoes, right? These are the 74, but these are the socks right here. I love these things. That little bunny. I don't know why.
Oh, it's cute.
Yeah. It's so good.
I like the turtle because my daughter, who's 2, is like her favorite thing in the world is turtles, and so she's always like turtle, and I'm like, oh, that turtle looks great, and I really like the color green, and I can pair it with a green Tron, pair it with my Riot kit, yeah. So I'm going with the socks. Best sock choice is the tortoise and hare, hands down.
There we go. Well, somebody who might have some opinions here is suddenly on all of this. Suddenly we have a Teppi, can you hear us okay?
Yeah.
Good. All right. Teppi just showed up. He's got his elephant with him. And I just wanted to get him in here because, first of all, what's your favorite? He's level 75. Okay. If we're talking new equipment and we're talking experience, I mean, we've got to bring the guy in who might be the highest level in game. Is there anybody else that you know of, Teppi, that may be a higher level than you are right now?
No, maybe the bot guys who are riding like 50 kph all the day long.
Yeah, gotcha. So sorry to interrupt. I'm totally interrupting Anna's whole flow here of going through these, but I had to bring Teppi in because I was about to use all of the things that he told me on my live stream. Okay, so there was a bunch of stuff that he told me about farming. So to get to your levels, I'm going to just segue us real quickly to the XP farming. And there's 3 different ways that I am currently using. And this all came up actually out of the WLC race, championship race, because we had Teppi on during that. And he would start talking about what level he was. He was wearing his pointy hat cap with the Scotty the Squirrel cap. And so we asked all these questions, and he was like, well, I've got the top secret stuff here. Da, da, da. And so we've been doing workouts up the Zwift, because the workout mode farming is like every 5 minutes you get a certain amount, and then you do the workout so that it gets you to the top of the Zwift by the end of the workout. And then when you cross the line, you might get the 1,000 or at least 250 XP bonus, right? So then for sure you've farmed around 1,000 to 2,000 per hour. But then I went to Crit City and I did a test. And in the test, I was able to farm over 2,000 at the double XP though. This is at double XP that I get for being accelerated. I was able to farm 2,200 XP an hour by doing just Crit City on a TT bike, because you get a 10 XP bonus every lap. So that's every 2K, you're getting a 10 XP bonus, and you're getting that at every 3 minute-ish interval at a base pace for me, on top of the speeds that you can do on that course. So now Teppi came in and was like, wait a second, buddy, if you really want to gamble, he says the climb portal is where it's at right now. And I tried it. And I hit level 69 tonight in less than an hour and a half, going almost from quarter of the way of 68.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Teppi.
Yeah, so Zwift gave us the great tool of gradient change on the climb portal. So if you go to the shortest climbs on the climb portal, you can get XP boost every 300 meters. And when you are in the climb portal mode, you eliminate the aero and draft boost, so you are left with the 10 XP, 250 XP, and feather.
Yeah, so but here's the thing. Now, this was all qualified very, very clearly actually during Gabriella's stream today, because he was in Gabriella's stream and I was streaming as well, and we were all communicating, and Teppi was in chat, and we were asking all these questions. We were like, give us all the goods here. And so what we figured out was, what Teppi had figured out was that, well, first he said we needed to go to Makuri Islands. And then we tried the Makuri Islands thing, but you have to constantly turn in Makuri Islands on the top of the castle. And you can get a banner if you constantly turn every 1.9 kilometers or something, or 1.3 or something
1.3.
like that. 1.3. So that's another way that you can get a 10 XP bonus every 1.3. So if you're really into farming and you want to constantly turn, you can ride a TT bike on a flat course and get 10 XP extra every 1.3. That's actually faster than Crit City probably, actually, if you want to constantly be turning. I kind of like to check out and play Hearthstone while I XP farm. But anyways, on the climb portal, if you just ride up to it and select 50%, it doesn't give you... Now, I haven't tested this. Teppi, you've tested this, because I don't want to give false information, but it sounds like it doesn't put you in the mode where you only get feather XP or big XP bonus. So you have to actually select it from the main menu, from the climb portal, from the main menu, and then roll up to it, because you'll be in a mode that only gives you feather XP bonus or big XP bonus. So you have a really good chance of getting all of those bonuses, and select the shortest climb you can. Right now, the shortest one's like 8 kilometers, 8.9 or something like that.
It's the monthly climb, Old La Honda, I think.
Yeah, Old La Honda, but I think it's like 8 kilometers, right?
5.3 maybe.
Oh, is it? Okay, gotcha. Maybe I had it in
Yeah,
miles or something like that. Okay. Because the lead-in. Got it. So with all of that, what I was able to accomplish on 50%, because you go faster at 50%. So I was able to accomplish this in 15 minutes with 10, like every minute and a half, I was getting 10 extra XP. And riding on a regular bike, and I got 250 bonuses on one of those climbs. So like,
and that was 1,000 points.
Huge. And then you get free and then you just get a free downhill. Woo, all the free K. So I mean, like, that's
So go to the climb portals.
Climb portals.
Okay.
Climb
Yeah.
portals seem to be the way to go. It seemed to be the way to go.
Yeah, I think
Can you
I
do
think
you can do workouts on a climb portal, right?
Don't do it. It's wasted XP.
I know, but I can't just jump on the bike and ride around. I need I gotta have a purpose,
It's
man.
good bike work. But yeah, I think my best 5-minute climb was like 2,000 XP.
Yeah,
in a 5-minute.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Wowza.
I got
Whoa.
lucky on that one, but on the next one, I think I got 5 feathers, and I haven't been so bummed out about feather on a climb ever before.
I know. I was yelling at the screen about every feather I got on the way up. I was like, oh, I got like 4 in a row, and I was like, are you kidding me? But it evened itself out. All right, Teppi, we got to move on here. Thank you so much for jumping in with us so quickly. It's so appreciated, man. I know it's like, what is it, like 5 a.m. by you or something?
No, 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
I'm going for a run.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Well, have a good run, Teppi.
Enjoy.
Appreciate you jumping in and giving us the top secrets and everything when it comes to XP. Super awesome. Well, our man out of Finland, who's always one of the best.
Oh, so good.
Seriously.
He messaged me and was like, I'm up to, at that stage, he was at 72. I was like, oh, but I think, Nathan, I think I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do the XP farming. Like, I just.
You know, Gabby was like when I did, I saw her doing it, and she looked over at me and was like, welcome to the dark side. Like, she was totally like.
I think the problem is here, it's like summer. So I'm like going out, like my long rides are outside. I can't do it. And then I do workouts. And then when I do workouts, I always want to ride the new road. So I'm just going to have to accept I'm going to be well behind everyone else with my ability to get all these unlocks. I've just got to like accept it in my heart.
All right. Can we jump through these quickly for the,
Yes, I just want to go to the kits. I want to go to the kits because that's probably, I would say, out of all these level unlocks, they've done a great job with the kits, I've got to say. So there are a ton of kits. And the part that I really, really like is that they start to get a theme to them. So they've got like a Dino Power kit, which then you can unlock like Dino Power socks. So then like there's sort of like Dino Power helmet or like hat. Yeah. So you kind of get like a full kit by the time you've unlocked, you're up to the 70s and 80s. The 70s and 80s and 90s, you're starting to unlock the final piece of that kit. And I got to say, like, what is it? The Mirage kit. Even though I haven't rated that as my highest, I love the fact that like level 99 is you get the Mirage helmet, and then you've got Mirage helmet, Mirage kit, Mirage socks, Mirage shoes, and you're just complete kit out. Like I don't care about the level 100 kit. As soon as I get to 99, I'm wearing that Mirage kit just nonstop all the time. Like love that concept.
I got to look at that one still. I haven't looked at that one. One other thing I got to mention is I love that the 10s do have their own like milestone kits as well. So that you can wear those around for a while you're getting through the next 10 levels. Very well done. Yeah. That Mirage is really cool, actually. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when they're all paired together, it looks amazing.
Wow.
But the
helmet.
Kits, yeah. Yeah. It's rad, right?
Oh my gosh. That thing is sick.
Seriously. Get to that farming, Nathan. I'm going to have to live vicariously through you.
I'm on it. All right. Speaking of kits as well, Makuri Blossom kit. Now what level is this one?
This is level 72. So Teppi will have this.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, this is probably one of the most beautiful kits I've seen. We talked about it when Makuri Islands opened up. The cherry blossoms, I just can't get enough. Like I love the cherry blossoms. And this cherry blossom kit it's beautiful. I just love it. It's really, really nice and well done and different. It'll be hard to get me out of this. I'm actually going to try and get my Riot team to just all get to level 72, and then this can be our new team kit.
Heck yeah. Well, and just so everybody knows, like we are still selecting from the submitted kits. We do see your submitted kits over on the website. So keep submitting them. We absolutely love them, and we will shout out as we get through them. We have a lot to go through, obviously, with all of the releases. It was like almost like we were trying to like find kits to do cool things about in the community, and now we have like Oh, okay. An overwhelm of so many kids to go through. So keep on submitting them. Also, get your NPC stories submitted as well. We absolutely love those. Keep on submitting over at zwiftcommunitylive.com/podcast. That's where you can find all of the podcasts in audio format, as well as the places that you can submit your kit submissions and your non-player character stories if you do have them, and we will highlight them here on the show. We might have to like come back to all this again, I think.
Well, yeah, I don't know how we do this because, like, the kits, there's so many that I need to feature each one kind of individually. So I think I love the community kits, but I kind of feel like we've just been there's like I don't think anyone would mind that we now have 40 new things that we like start to get back into the swing of this. The problem is I'm not going to be unlocking these anytime soon. I might get the Cool Tone glove pack, which is probably like
Well,
the
somebody could
worst
submit
first
it on the
unlock.
website and say, "Hey, I just unlocked this," and we go, "Okay, maybe or maybe not around on one of those."
Yeah,
You
I
know,
reckon.
and
Yeah,
make sure
yeah.
that we
Or we
still are
just use
highlighting our community members.
Yeah, maybe we do like a just feature that and then a community kit. So we used to have like a fashion in the field. So maybe
Yeah,
we have a jersey pick of the week as one of these, and then a fashion in the field is a community pick.
yeah, it sounds good. It sounds good. All right. Well, anything else that we need to do? No, that's it. So, well, everybody, we'll check out this season on Zwift stuff next week because I think Anna's got a gigantic Christmas party to get to in the background.
Although, like this season on Zwift, I did look through it all, and a lot of it has already come out in 1.54. I think there was like an interesting thing with you being able to like stack up all the things you wanted in your companion app. So you could kind of select, like, I want to be doing this workout, I want to be doing this ride. And so when you go onto Zwift, it's already all there, kind of ready for you to just get straight into. That was probably the coolest thing and newest thing I saw on there.
So, like
But a lot of
preparing
it,
your
I'd
rides, like boom, 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 boom,
yeah,
and then just being
yeah,
able to go kind of a thing rather than having all
yeah,
this kind of messing
yeah,
around and figuring out what am I going to do, da, 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 da,
yeah,
da. But in the companion app, take care of that and then load Zwift up
yeah,
and it's done.
which is like awesome. I really like that. So I think
I
like
do
that's been a
like,
great development.
I do find myself messing around a bunch, actually, like just getting going, like having to give it like 10 to 15 minutes just, and then if things don't pair right, blah, 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 then, well, what am I going to do? And it's like a half hour's gone by where I could have been spinning my legs, you know? So
I know. The worst part is right before ZRL because I get on like 30 minutes early and I'm like, what do I do? It's like the only unstructured part of my week. And I'm like, oh, do I go to a pace partner? Which one? Do I go here? Do I follow someone? What do I do? And then by the time I've done that, I'm like, for 10 minutes has been wasted with me trying to figure out what to do here. So
So
yeah, it'll be
if
good.
that feature were available right now, what would you be doing for the next week? Stacking it up on Companion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'd stack that all up. I'd be like, I will be with Coco Cadence on Tempest Fugit, and then I just do it, and the decision's made. I'm not trying to make it when I'm really nervous and like excited about the race.
So what are you doing for the next week then? I'm asking. I was actually
Oh,
asking you that
sorry. Yeah.
question.
Oh, there we go.
I was. You see what I did there?
That's good. That's good. Nice job. This is why you're the king of commentary segueing. I'm going out for a big gravel ride, maybe like 4 hours this weekend. So it'll be a bit of fun out in the sunshine because it's summer here. I don't know how I'll feel tomorrow after this Christmas party, but I'm anticipating to go ocean swimming tomorrow morning for a while.
Well, that'll wake you up.
And it sure does. Can make you feel a bit ill if it's a bit wavy, though. And I'm actually putting in some pretty hard run training. A lot of it on Zwift. If you follow me on Zwift, I guess. Putting out some pretty like tempo efforts. So today was like 10 kilometers at 4-minute 15s, I think. So sort of that real race pace effort, but for extended periods of time. So quite hard, but I think it'll benefit the cycling too. What about you, Nathan?
You know, I did SST, so I've been like not in a mode to do intervals, like not because I shouldn't be doing intervals, just I didn't have motivation to just go do intervals. And so I have been probably racing more than is beneficial for gaining the fitness gains that I want to get, but it's just fun. it's just more fun. Like, and so right before this, I actually raced. I was going to race TTT tonight, and then the team couldn't make it because of family stuff or whatever. So I was like, all right, let's find another race. So I'll probably try and find the best race I possibly can to get the kind of fitness gains I want out of it, which is usually with Epic Racing coming up. The KISS
Oh my
100.
God. I thought you were going to say, I'm going to do the best race I can to get the most XP. No.
Well, there's that too. That's actually probably what I'll also do, which is also probably the KISS 100. So unless you can find like a race where it's like nonstop banners, but the banners don't even matter in there actually because you're getting power ups. So I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I'll probably race KISS 100 this weekend and then very much looking forward to the TTT. It's a longer TTT. I enjoy the longer ones actually when it comes to ZRL, so I'll be racing that. I'm liking that we have a break from ZGP. It's going to give an opportunity to lift some weights, get the back strong again, and not have to like rest for racing. I can kind of like get into a solid steady training. Looking forward to this, whatever the heck is in my throat going away. Yeah, just looking forward and actually shout out to anybody out there in the community. Like if there's some racing that is not the stuff we're broadcasting, because the stuff we're broadcasting is kind of like where the higher end focuses kind of are, ERL and ZRLs, etc. But definitely on the lookout for like some of these like side corner things to participate in that are cool that people are trying out that might be kind of the next hype, because it's always cool to get involved and try it out before we get into broadcasting it. And we're working a lot actually right now also on a lot of back-end tools when it comes to Zwift Community Live. And, not only are there a lot of streams going on right now, I think we've got 6 across like broadcasts with a lot of great productions that are growing with partnerships with organizers directly in some new ways, but we're also tooling up a lot in the background in ways that aren't quite seen yet. But a lot of the stuff that you might be seeing on the broadcast are just tests more than the final products in a lot of ways. And so I'm really excited about the ways that may be able to create more direct connection between the community and the athletes that they're watching, as well as the results that they are getting and the as athletes as well as the teams, so that you can see it and make sense of it as a narrative out there. So I'm really hoping that we can get there. I don't think that we're going to get there in the next month, but I think in the next 2 to 3 months, I have a feeling a lot of the stuff that we're doing right now. So that's kind of like if you ask me what I'm up to in relationship to this space, that's the most of what's on my mind right now. And like my exercise and everything I'm doing when it comes to competing. Like I said it the other day, I was like, actually, I think I said it on stream today. I was like, yeah, riding my bike's definitely not my main gig anymore. I'm like,
this is the vibe you're in. I remember when I was commentating with you on ZRL stuff a couple of years ago, and I was like, oh, are you going to race? And you're like, this is everything. Like it feels like it's that vibe again.
Like, yeah. And not that was only Tuesdays and a couple of others. Now we're doing the same ZRL, but Saturdays, Wednesdays, Mondays, and we might be adding Thursdays back in too. I mean, there's national championships, 2 of them. So, I mean, yeah, things are full gas. The funny thing is I felt like that was harder than it is now. And I think it's because we're starting to see not fruit of this necessarily, but like the tree is there and like I can kind of be like, maybe spring's coming. And you know what I mean? Like, okay. Like so which is nice, which is really cool. Really good. It's gonna take a lot of hard work though, still. A lot of hard work to make sure those trees stay standing and the fruit actually comes out. But it's good stuff. So a lot of analogies. Yeah, it's a lot of analogies. Everyone's like, what are you talking about, Nathan? Like, tell us the real thing. What? Like, sorry, just trying to tease you. Well, I think Anna's got a party to get to. This is the podcast as well. If you did not know, make sure to head over to zwiftlive.com/podcast. Anna's pretty awesome about uploading those real quickly after we are done here, if I am able to deliver the audio quick enough. But and then you can follow us obviously also everywhere that we have been live, which is YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, as well as Instagram. Now, next time we'll look to try and make sure that it's a 9:16 for you instead, or instead of a 16:9. Appreciate everybody who did tune in over on Instagram. Growing pains over there, but we will see you next week for episode number 75, and we'll see you on Saturday for the Echelon Racing League as well. As always, from Anna and I, we appreciate you so much, and we'll see you next week. Right on.